Hello and welcome, Vault Dwellers, to the Daily Ops Show, a show about the things we love and hate about post-apocalyptic Appalachia. With various topics and nonsense to cover about Fallout 76, here's our host, Beetham.
Hello and welcome everybody to the Daily Ops Show. I'm your host, Keith Beetham. In today's special episode, because I definitely didn't accidentally forget to record all of the audio from last night when I had our guests on, we are going to talk about, or I am going to talk about, our Mole Miner Treasure Hunter events. Some simple facts that I know, some thoughts about it, and how to best min-max your profits and returns. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was whether or not it's best to spend your caps on crafting normal pails or ornate pails. And it is very situation dependent. So if you're in like a rush to get all of the plans as fast as you can, say the event's winding down, or you just don't have a lot of time to play and you want to get your odds as high as you possibly can, what I would suggest is buying normal pails. And the reason for that is normal pails have a 0.93% chance to give you a rare plan. So a less than 1% chance. But you get, for 4,050 caps, you get 6 chances at 1%. Now, with the ornate pails, you have a 1.4% chance. But for 3,950 caps, you get 2 chances. So for essentially the same amount of money, you get 6 chances at 1% to 2 chances at 1.5%. So your mileage may vary, but if I'm in a rush and I need to get the plans, I'm taking 6 spins at the wheel at 1% over 2 spins at the wheel at 1.5%. So with that topic out of the way, the next thing that I wanted to talk about was planning ahead, and forgive the pun, because what I mean by that is making sure that you're stocked up for the next event so that you can get the plans early. The reason that you might want to get the plans early is because if you have plans that don't exist in the game normally yet, so the loot table drops before the event drops. So 2 to 3 weeks before the Mole Miner event actually happens, the loot table will be updated. If you craft empty ornate pails into regular pails, when that happens, you can get the new plans before they're normally accessible. What that means is there is very limited supply and very high demand. So you can sell these plans. Well, you can either get them for yourself and show them off at your camp, which is great, or you can sell any extra plans that you have for really extreme markups. I've seen cases where you can get legacy weapons for the price of some of these rare plans. So their value is extremely inflated, which, if you play your cards right, is extremely good for you. Now, when you do that, that's going to assume that you've already gotten all of the plans that you wanted from the last event. So you're going to want to save up on empty ornate pails. If they're already crafted or naturally ornate, you will not get access to the new loot table when you open them. So you need to have them uncrafted, and then when the next loot table gets updated, you craft them into your ornate pails, you open them up, and you get access to the shiny new toys. So plan ahead. Save up some, set aside a little part of your stash box for empty ornate pails, and just keep them in there. Don't even look at them until the next loot table comes in. Now, the next tip I wanted to bring up is how to effectively hunt for mole miners. Now, a lot of folks are looking for good farming routes. There's tons of great videos out there about that. I'm going to show the route that I use. But the things that are important to help you maximize your returns is, the first thing I suggest is adjusting your audio settings. Turn your voices and your effects way up and turn everything else off. This will let you hear them from a mile out without being distracted by other noises. It makes it really easy to hone in on them. The other thing you want to do is understand what it is that you're doing and to be focused. So don't worry about killing the little scorch that run around. Don't worry about killing the mole miners. Don't worry about killing the super mutants. Just focus on finding and murdering the treasure hunters. That's all you're there for. The rest of it doesn't matter. Now, if you want to, if it's your jam, you really want to clear places out, just know that it's going to slow you down a lot. So if that is something that you want to do, I suggest you think about the cost to time ratio that you're putting in. Super mutants are probably worth it because they're 500 or so experience a pop, but scorched are like 100. Is that worth it? Is that worth your time? Is that worth cutting out all of that time you could be farming? I don't think so. The other thing that's worth mentioning is berry mentats help a lot, especially in areas that are multi-tiered and you're not sure exactly where they are, like the Palace of the Wending Path. They help a lot there to help find out where they are. And use a hunting team, because you're gonna be killing mostly legendaries. You might as well get more experience for killing them anyway, right? So those are the big tips that I have for that, along with the farming route that I'll show towards the end of the video. The other thing that we wanted to discuss, which was my favorite topic that we talked about, which was unfortunately lost, was does Fallout First make it pay to win? So what do I mean when I say that? So of course Fallout First is the subscription where you get Bethesda bonuses for giving them $100 a year, which is just insane to me, but I still pay for it because anyway. So is it pay to win? And I think the answer is kinda, because the ability to switch from public to private servers and get a brand new, unharvested enemy pool that can spawn the mole miners is a huge, huge benefit. Having your own private server where you can run the entire loop without finding any dead mole miners or any areas that were just cleaned out by somebody 2 minutes ahead of you makes it a lot easier to find it. Now that said, I do switch back and forth. From what we've been able to tell, you do end up getting more mole miners on a public server, but it kind of evens out because you also encounter areas that have already been cleaned out. So we think that there are more spawns on public servers, but you also have to deal with the popular places where you would normally find multiple treasure hunters have already been cleared out. So in that way, it does give you an advantage to have Fallout First during these types of events. So back to some of the earlier topics that we discussed. When is a good time to get Fallout First if you're only going to get it once or twice a year? During these types of events is when you might get the most mileage out of it. Now, the other thing that we wanted to talk about was the farming route. So I'm going to put up a map here and kind of circle up the areas that we've had pretty good luck at and we find lots of mole miners at. It's essentially a backwards C where you dodge the forest, because the forest just doesn't have a lot of enemies in it. The way that the mole miners work, as far as we can tell, is they will not spawn in any interior instance. So if you have to go into a loading screen to get into a place, they won't be in there. And they seem to replace enemies that exist. So if you go anywhere where there are a lot of enemy spawns, like the Tyler County Dirt Track, for example, there's a good chance that you'll end up finding one there, having replaced one of the scorched that are normally there. So those are the big topics that we wanted to hit today. Again, apologies that the video that we wanted to make, we built a nice set up on Mount Blair. It looked pretty cool. Spent some good time, had some good conversation. I apologize that we lost that, but I wanted to make sure that we got a video out for you guys today to help you with the mole miner events, and this should also apply to the Santa Claus events whenever that comes around. So I hope you found this entertaining. I hope you found it educational, and I hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks once again for tuning into our broadcast. If you enjoyed our show, please give us a good old-fashioned Vault Boy thumbs up by hitting that like button. If you really enjoyed the show, please subscribe. If you'd like to meet the cast, visit our Discord, link in the doobly-doo below. Please leave your questions, comments, concerns, and emotional outbursts in the comments section. Please join us next week for another radioactive episode of the Daily Ops Show. Stay safe out there, wastelanders.